you searching for fulfillment? Discover true happiness. Stay tuned to Shalom World.
I didn't realize I was actually searching for something more. I thought that this life was supposed to be filled with anxiety and stress and sleepless nights. So I guess I should stop complaining because at least I don't have financial burdens and worries. And so I'm living my life as I normally do, striving for that something more that I'm not really sure what I'm striving for. And then I get the phone call. Your father is in the hospital. He's going to have quadruple bypass surgery. And then I prayed and I prayed. And I truly believe it was in those 18 hours of prayer for my father. That was my invitation to God to come into my life. I was a confirmed Catholic. My mom and dad put my brothers and me through CCD, which was every Saturday morning we're running around the house, eating our breakfast, and the first time my mom thinks of CCD is right when we're about to leave the house and says, "Oh, did you guys do your CCD homework?" No, and we're in the backseat of the car, either memorizing our prayers or filling out our workbooks, in our soccer uniforms. My mom pulls up, kicks us out. We're gone for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then back to our normal, regularly scheduled program. We really didn't talk about religion. I didn't really talk about Jesus. I didn't really have much of a prayer life or a relationship with him, and I honestly had no clue what this Catholic faith was all about. So as a child, we as a family did not go to Mass. We did not go every Sunday. We did, however, we were Creasters. We did go to Christmas and Easter Mass once a year, but that was it. And then when I left my house and I grew up and I moved out on my own, I wasn't even going to Christmas or Easter Mass at all. Decades. So as a child, I grew up hook, line, and sinker did I buy what this secular culture told me made me happy. I was always comparing myself with others. I'm not thin enough, smart enough, pretty enough, educated enough. And I remember being on my first diet at 10 years old because I wanted to be thin like the other girls. And my whole life, I've been searching for something more. And I thought, okay, it must be in money. So as I go through high school in my awkward years, I am constantly fighting my battle with my weight. And it's now time to figure out, what am I gonna be when I grow up? Forget about the weight now. Now you've got to figure out your career. So at that age in my time, going to a 4-year school was just what people did. I had no desires to be anything in particular, not a doctor, not a dentist, nothing that was specific in terms of schooling. So I just wanted to get by out of these 4 years as quick as I could. So I found the most generic communications degree that I could find. And when I came out of school, I just wanted to make money. I thought, okay, I'm gonna get into sales because I can sell anybody anything. I've got an outgoing personality. Sales is what it is. And there I realized I hate that cold calling thing. I did not love calling people and asking to meet with them. That was actually something that I struggled with very early in my career. So sales wasn't it for me, that's for sure. And then technology came. My career came to me. I did not seek it out. I ended up going to work for a payroll company, and then I started getting into large system implementations, and that was where my career kind of shot up, and I started thinking, climb that corporate ladder and get into that executive suite, because that's where the money is, that's where the happiness is, that's where the power and the prestige is, and that must be what I'm looking for. So I climbed that corporate ladder super fast. And my goal was to be a chief information officer by the time I was 40. 10 days before my birthday, that became a reality. And I was thinking, this is awesome. I did it. I hit my goal. And you would think that I would have this feeling of satisfaction, this feeling of fulfillment, of maybe pride even. But I didn't. I had total anxiety. I was constantly worrying, sleepless nights, and still searching for something more. I didn't realize I was actually searching for something more. I thought that this life was supposed to be filled with anxiety and stress and sleepless nights. I talked to all my friends and they have the same thing. Life is hard. It's not easy. So as I'm sharing my trials and tribulations with my friends, I'm realizing they're having the same thing. So I guess I should stop complaining, because at least I don't have financial burdens and worries. So hey, Kendra, buck up, get on with life. This is all there really is. So keep striving for more. For more what? More money? Another CIO job in a bigger company? What is it? What is it that I'm looking for? And so I'm living my life as I normally do, striving for that something more that I'm not really sure what I'm striving for. And then I get the phone call. Your father is in the hospital. He's going to have quadruple bypass surgery. Out of the blue. No symptoms, not sick, not overweight. What do you mean? Tomorrow he's going in? They're gonna crack his chest open, quadruple bypass surgery? Tomorrow? And then I prayed, and I prayed. More than I have in my entire life in these 17 hours. It was the first time I actually prayed for somebody other than me. I mentioned that I had a prayer life with God, but it was always a one-way asking train. Lord, can you please have this boy like me? Lord, can you give me this job? Lord, can you? But for the first time, I was praying not for me, but for my dad. And praying so hard and crying, really intently, talking to God, please do not take my father. It was amazing. And in the end, I felt like he heard me. As a matter of fact, I know he heard me and he answered my prayers, because my dad comes out of this surgery with flying colors. His recovery is darn near miraculous. He's back on hockey skates as a hockey coach weeks after his surgery. I mean, you have your chest broken open and then a couple weeks later you're back on the ice? It's amazing. So for me, that was a godsend. It was an answered prayer. And you would think that that brought me back to the church, but not so much. As a matter of fact, I went right back into my old ways and thought, hey, honey, that could be us in that hospital room with a quadruple bypass surgery going on, because we are packing on 20 extra pounds and we need to go on a diet. Actually, we need to go on a cleanse. And he's thinking, what is a cleanse? You pretty much don't eat anything but organic free-range chicken, wild-caught fish, and all of these organic vegetables, Plus, you take all of these detox pills along the way. I don't know how I got him to agree with me, but he did. And we were gonna start our cleanse on Easter Sunday of 2013. Funny, I didn't know that was the biggest feast day ever, but we weren't practicing. I had no clue about this Catholic thing. As a matter of fact, we chose Easter Sunday because I host Easter Saturday. So that is when we celebrate Easter in my family. We decide we're gonna start the cleanse on Easter Sunday in 2013 because we have Easter Saturday celebration at my house because we have a lot of divorces and wanted the kids to get back to their other families on Easter Day, on Easter Sunday. So I get him to agree with me on this diet, and I'm looking in the book. God is amazing at the ways in which he talks to us. In the book, there is a pie chart that has different segments of your life. One of those segments said spirituality, and that kind of grabbed me because I was thinking, geez, I've got nothing going on in that piece of the pie. Well, okay, I'm cleansing my body. Why don't I go cleanse my soul? And I decided I'll go back to church. So the bottom line is, I know I'm going to be going to church on my own. This is not going to be something that my husband is going to sign up for. It's a miracle that I even have him doing the cleanse. So everyone's over at the party on Easter Saturday, and I am eating everything in the house because it's the Last Supper, and we're gonna start the cleanse on Sunday. I think I ate a whole cake, a bunch of cookies, a couple of bottles of wine, and when that alarm went off that following Sunday, I was like, whose idea is this church thing anyway? So I smacked the alarm, I got up, threw my hair up, found something church-worthy to wear, and off to Mass I went. Scared to death. I haven't stepped foot in a church in a couple of decades, and I'm pretty clueless as to what I'm going to be experiencing in here because I never followed along before. I never followed in the missal. I just watched all these people in front of me to entertain myself as I was waiting for the 45 minutes to an hour to end. I would rather have a root canal than go to Mass. So I walk in, I dip my fingers in the holy water, and I know the sign of the cross. I find a pew in the back, which is perfect. I kneel down, I genuflect, I know this, and I'm waiting for the church service to start. The priest comes up from the front and then comes down the back, and check this out. He says, "Hello, people in the back row." And I am laughing, really, actually giggling, thinking, that's awesome. You just made me feel so much more relieved because I'm kind of freaking out right now. And then Mass starts. He gets up in front of the altar and says, "Peace be with you." And I'm in the back going, I know this one. "And also with you." I kind of belt it out too, because again, I know this one. And I'm looking around saying, nobody is saying, "And also with you." Absolutely nobody. What is it that they're saying? So that just made me look like a complete idiot, and for the rest of Mass, all I did was follow everybody. I had no clue what was going on. I was pretty embarrassed. And then I am about ready at the end to go home. I'm really like, this is like the longest 45 minutes ever. And then the priest says, "Everyone please be seated. We have announcements." Will this ever end, I think? And then they say, Divine Mercy Sunday at 2 o'clock after Spanish Mass, we're gonna have confession here. And I'm thinking, what's Divine Mercy Sunday? And then I thought, whoa, confession. I haven't been to confession in like 26 years, for crying out loud. Whew. But I didn't decide to go. I left feeling pretty good. Something changed. I don't know, I felt a little lighter. And I thought, you know what, that's not so bad. I'll go back next Sunday. But before I step foot back in that church on Sunday, I had better figure out what they're saying, because if it's not "and also with you," I am not going to go. I need to find that out because I need to say what they're saying. Find out it's "and with your spirit," and that changed quite a while ago. But then I started stumbling across these other pretty important facts about the Mass. That the Eucharist, that bread that I kind of had no clue what it was, is the real presence of God. And I I condemned myself by receiving him on Easter Sunday because I wasn't in a state of grace, whatever that is. And then I researched what that was, and I was thinking, oh my goodness. So if I believe in a half of a mustard seed of this faith, and I die right now, I am going straight to hell. And that scared the bejesus out of me. Seriously, I'd never really thought about my mortality for so many decades. And then all of a sudden, it was sort of right in front of my face. But I didn't decide to go to confession. As a matter of fact, that following Sunday, I went to Mass as usual. I go to the first one in the morning. And then my husband and I decided we were going to play golf. It was a beautiful afternoon in Chicago. But there was a lot going on at my company. We were merging 3 different companies together, and I didn't know if I was going to have a job. So my sleepless nights and anxieties just got worse, and my neck started really hurting. So I asked my husband after a couple of holes if I could go home and he could finish the round by himself because my neck was killing me. Sure, no problem. I go lay my head at home, and all of a sudden I hear this voice. Confession at 2 o'clock after Spanish Mass. God's amazing how he talks to you. And I thought, oh, what time is it? I roll my head over, I look at the clock, and I said, it's 1 o'clock. I can make it. I don't know, maybe it'll make my neck feel better. So I got up, I grabbed a pen and an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, one of those big ones, and I just started writing. And then I flipped it over and I kept writing and writing and writing. I did not know about the examination of conscience. I was just kind of winging it. So I walk into the church. I'm the first one in line for confession. And when I get in there, after he, says what he says, and I'll be honest, I don't remember what he says. All I know was he paused. And that was my turn to say, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Get a load of this. It's been 26 years since my last confession." And I said it just like that, as if I were some sort of a comedian trying to lighten the fact that it's been a really long time since I've been here. And then he says on the other side, "Welcome home," in the most beautiful voice I have ever heard. And I started bawling like a baby. I could not control myself. Streaming tears. I'm trying to talk. Now I can't read my paper because I have so many tears in my eyes. My lump in my throat is growing. I have no Kleenex in there at all, and I am a blubbering mess. After I'm done, I'm thinking it must be 30 minutes that I've been in there. So when he absolves me of my sins, that's my cue to bawl one more time. I am on my knees, but I'm floating. I feel this surreal sense of being. I am in so much peace. It's almost as if someone just undid a balloon and all the air came out, and I'm just so relaxed. I get up and I leave the confessional, and I'm shocked. There is a line going down out the church along the side, and I am feeling pretty weird at that point, thinking everyone must have thought I murdered somebody. I was in there for so long. I got in my car, and that, I can tell you looking back, was a transformative day for me. This transformation in my life was palatable. It was so noticeable. I could feel it. I could barely even keep in my own skin. I'm at the office, bouncing around. People are wondering, what in the world is going on with you? As I've mentioned, it was a toxic environment. Everybody was in a really bad place. And here I come, throwing rainbows and lollipops to everyone, and I'm getting questions like, are you on a diet? Are you pregnant? What is going on with you? And I am so thrilled to say I've found my faith. I've found Catholicism, and share everything that happened with reconciliation. And my husband is really noticing. He sees me in a totally different light. And is really supportive of this faith thing because he can see and is experiencing how much more loving I am, how much more patient I am, and how happy I am. So I'm actually going to test him and see how supportive he is of this faith and my transformation. So I sat him down, scared to death, because I wanted to ask if he was okay with me leaving my executive career to become a Catholic speaker and an author. I feel called to bring people to a relationship with God and the faith. And I have no idea what he's going to say. So I come to him in tears. I'm overflowing with emotions. And he said the most godlike thing. Okay, we'll take it day by day. And I was floored. I could not believe that he was ready and gung-ho for this. And now I start freaking out because I actually have to go do this. But I don't even know where to start. I've never run my own business before. I have a book, but I've never edited, published it, designed a book. What do I put on the covers? How do I get quotes? I haven't spoken yet. How do I get experience on the stage? Speaking of the faith, I have spoken the professional life, but not about the faith. How do I start a website? What's the content? How do I have someone help me with this social media stuff that I've kind of stayed away from? How do I get myself out there in an advertising, promos, video editing? It goes on and on and on. Well, I'll tell you how I do it. I give myself to God. Every single day, I wake up in prayer. I humbly offer myself and surrender to him, saying, God, I am yours. Do with me what you will. And I go to Mass and I receive him in the Eucharist. And I sit in adoration where I hear and I listen to him coming to me and telling me what I need to do. Or I can see him talking through other people or him putting people in my way to help me move forward with the next step of my new ministry. And it's been fantastic. What a year. What a year. But why am I really doing this? The bottom line is this. My life is transformed because I invited God in. And I truly believe it was in those 18 hours of prayer for my father. That was my invitation to God to come into my life. I'm going to share with you. Only God can fill your cup. Only God. And I want that for you. I hope you invite him in, and I want you to have a blessed journey. It is going to be amazing.
Jesus said, go out to the whole world and announce the good news. And that's what Shalom is doing. It's bringing the good news of the Holy Spirit in action, renewing the face of the earth so that all people may know how good is the Lord, how beautiful is the work of salvation. Thank you, Shalom, for all you do to reach out, to lead the faith forward. And may Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.